Hey everybody, what is up? I'm driving back home after being at a day-and-a-half conference in Monterey. I was at the, it was the Advocacy Association fireside chat is what they called it. So ADAP, the AIDS Drug Assistance Program, has an advocacy association, and they meet up and have meetings with, issues related to HIV, typically medication or just access. It's all U.S. based advocacy. So I was asked to come there with a group of there was 20 of us all together, a lot of CEOs, presidents, VPs, directors, head of this, founder of that, and then there's me. They considered, God, this guy is riding on my ass. Sorry, dude, I'm going 70. Anyways, so I was asked to come there as somebody who has a private group for HIV positive women on Facebook, representing that perspective. It was supposed to be a diverse group of people, and we basically sat in a circle for 2 days or a day and a half and talked about. There was 3 main things that were talked about, and again, if you're not a U.S. citizen with HIV, this wouldn't really pertain to you, but the first issue that they talked about was this 340B plan, which I'd never heard of. Other people in the group had never heard of it either, and I can include a link in the description about it. It's basically for those that are uninsured. It's money that's available to people that need HIV medication who are uninsured, that aren't covered by Ryan White, which is the ADAP Association, and they may be able to get their medication at a lower cost just by asking the pharmacy if they qualify for 340B, because a lot of people aren't aware of this program, and so they don't ask about it, and this money gets they call it double dipping, and this money that should be used for the client, which is the HIV positive patient, is sort of funneled around not in the right way, and it's just a matter of people being aware of the funding that's available to them and just asking for it. So I'm trying to get more clarification on how to communicate this really clearly to somebody that where the language is very clear, because it's a little confusing. It was a little confusing to everybody, so I really need it for even just myself, for it to be dumbed down so I can really explain it clearly. But that's kind of generally what I got from it. And then the second person that spoke talked about the protected classes, the 6 protected classes. They call it the 6 PCs, and those are the 6 classes of drugs that the U.S. government has decided they're protected. They're not going to change. HIV and AIDS medication is one of those 6. And so those, it's, some things might change coming up, so there's concern, but it looks like for the most part, they're waiting any day for some bill to come through or something to that extent. But it looks like HIV and AIDS medication will still be protected and part of the 6 protected classes of medication. The other ones are like seizure medication and what were those, like depression, and mental health medication, psychotic medication. Some of those are like also included in the 6 classes. But it looks like I said for HIV and AIDS, it's going to be no changes, and it should be fine and still well protected. The last thing we talked about today was the Ryan White funding, basically, or the structure of. There's a lot of acronyms. ASOs are AIDS service organizations, or CBOs are community-based organizations. These are the community-based organizations, and ASOs are the ones that are there for the people that go and test and at the ground level, and they need help. It's patients. It's that's who's there to help us. And so how can they, maybe make some changes in these organizations so they're more friendly for people to come into and not feel uncomfortable about testing, or having an awkward situation and then not wanting to go back, and to make it more wellness based versus disease state based, so that it's like more of a positive experience, not going in there thinking I have this disease that I'm going to die from, that it's something positive, that this is like you can live healthy with HIV. So, you know, what are the steps to making, you know, all of that. And I know they're already working on that. That's already something that's out there, but they really want to make it so it's just consistent across the U.S. and that, you know, people can comfortably go into these organizations and ask for testing and get help, you know, without feeling stigmatized. You know, I mean, a straight man probably wouldn't feel comfortable walking into one of these organizations, and they need to. Everybody needs to feel comfortable and safe walking into one of these organizations and not feeling judged, and you know, feel like they can get testing and get help if they need it. So we talked about that, and let's see what else. Gosh, I just really want to know why they don't offer HIV testing at every annual exam for a woman. We did talk about that. It didn't really get a clear answer on it, but it is something that I don't understand why that just doesn't happen. Why isn't there mandatory HIV testing included when you have, you know, your general blood checked? Why isn't HIV always included in that? I think it should be. I think a lot of people agree to that, but I guess a bill is probably passed that it's not allowed. You have to actually agree to it. The doctor has to ask you, and it's not done as a routine screening. But, you know, of course, there's a lot of talk about that happening, and that should be done, because once somebody's on medication, they can't transmit. So everybody needs to be, you know, medicated that has HIV, so they're not continuing to spread the virus. It's the best way to try to control the virus, because, you know, we're not going to sit here and hold our breath for a cure. There has to be a more tangible way of getting this done. So those were basically the topics, and you know, talked about aging and HIV. We have an amazing advocate, Tez Anderson, who's you know, a true miracle. He was diagnosed in '83, was always told he was going to die. He's still here today. He's a San Francisco local, and he runs a nonprofit organization called Let's Kick Ass. It's for, you know, those that have lived through the epidemic, that made it, and have to deal with a lot of you know, almost post-traumatic stress, definitely post-traumatic stress from, you know, going through the epidemic, watching like all of their friends die, constantly planning their funerals, and, you know, thinking they were going to die, and then they didn't die, and they're here. And so they, you know, there's a lot of you know, mental stress that came with that, plus there's a lot of physical things that have happened to those particular HIV people, because they deal with things like neuropathy from the medication back in the day, or having uncontrolled HIV for so long. There's a lot of like comorbidities that they've dealt with that they really need, you know, help with that. So I'll put a link to Tez is awesome. I'll put a link to his Let's Kick Ass in the description also, and he's got like 5 Twitter accounts all related to that, but he's super passionate, great guy. So let's see, what else can I tell you? That's about it. I'm on my way to work. I have to do my last day at work, and it's a Friday, and then I go straight into spring break, and it's spring break time. Oh my gosh, and Eric left, I should have started it off by saying that. Yeah, Eric left 2 days ago for Montreal, and it's been really sad and emotional, and you know, I'm so used to it at this point. It's really bittersweet, but it's really like an amazing feeling to like know somebody's missing you, and you know, I kind of love missing him. It's a great feeling, and can't wait to see him again, and we always get so excited for planning to see each other again. So it's hard though. Those long distance relationships, I mean, I'd never done this before. This is the first time, but it's, you know, it works for us. We know how to make it work, and we do, and it's kind of crazy, but it works. So okay guys, make sure you comment, like, subscribe. If you'd like to support my channel and all that I do with advocacy, please feel free to follow, or feel free to go to my website. It's jennifervaughn.org/donate, and I would appreciate any kind of support. It'd be great. All right guys, have a great day. I hope you're all doing well. Bye.